Cumberland Plateau is steeped in folklore, history, and various hues of local color. Come for the telling and listen for yourself. We're here to talk about the Civil War, or the war between the states along the Cumberland Plateau of Tennessee. Today we're at the grave of Captain Champ Ferguson in White County, Tennessee, in the Calf-Killer River Valley. Captain Ferguson was a member of the Confederate Army. Although an irregular member, he did serve with Generals Wheeler and Morgan in the cavalry, but for the most part his career during the war was spent as a guerrilla, as an irregular, engaged in partisan warfare along the plateau. Captain Ferguson was born in 1821 in Clinton County, Kentucky, just across the state line, and he was executed in Nashville, Tennessee on the 20th of October, 1865. Almost 3 million men served over the course of the Civil War. Almost 700,000 died during the 4 years of warfare. Only 2 men were ever tried for war crimes. Commandant Henry Wirtz of the infamous Andersonville prisoner of war camp, and Captain Ferguson, both of whom were executed. Captain Ferguson was a product of his culture, his time, and to understand the Civil War on the plateau, you have to understand the topography of the area, the people who settled the plateau, most of whom were descended from Ulstermen who had come here in the 18th century. Captain Ferguson, as his name indicates, was descended from these people. The blood feud was brought across the Atlantic, or the idea of the blood feud, vengeance. The borders between England and Scotland, where a lot of these people had come from, was an area of partisan warfare, continual struggle back and forth across the border. And despite the stories, the folklore around Captain Ferguson, he must be understood in terms of the 19th century Cumberland Plateau. He was dedicated to his cause, even though that cause may have been erroneous. He was a man of his time, and we have to judge him that way. Behind me are the graves of 5 members of the Carmichael family who were also from this valley. All 5 died during the war in different battles, different years, fighting for different Confederate outfits, but they indicate the kind of warfare, the kind of dedication that the people here had to their cause. And this little cemetery on the Calf-Killer River is a microcosm of the greater war throughout the South, and it's part of the folklore, part of the tradition, and part of the history of the Cumberland Plateau.